What is up, boys? Ron from Fantasy Flow. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be doing running back starts of the week. I got about 7 names for you guys of dudes that I really like, and I like their matchups, I like their over-unders. Before we get into this video and we start with some of these players, I just want to ask you guys for a like if you like this video, if you get enjoyment or even information from it. And while you're down there, if you want to catch more of my videos, I would really appreciate a subscribe. Really helps the channel. It's the best way to show support. So let's hop in the first name, bro, and it is Rico Dowdle. I've been touting this man for the past couple weeks. I've had him on like trade videos, I've had him on buy low videos, and he's somebody that I like going into this matchup. And there's a couple reasons why, right? I know there's a lot of negative sentiment about Rico Dowdle, but essentially we have a 51.5 point over under against the Atlanta Falcons, and the Falcons are a 2.5 point favorite. So that's not exactly what we like. We usually like a high over under combined with the team being a favorite. Those are usually the running backs that we want to smash start. But the reason that I really like Rico Dowdle is that Atlanta has a pretty much middle or worse defense in most rushing categories. In most defensive categories to begin with, but the rushing categories are kind of like their small flaw, right? I know in the past couple weeks their run defense has been good, and when you adjust for schedule, their run defense has been good. But they're a team that I think if you're going to attack them in some way, it is their run defense because they do have a couple good cornerbacks on their team. So the reason that I like Rico Dowdle moving forward, I know there's some ambiguity around this backfield, but Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook running the ball, dude, they made me feel like I could be in the NFL. Like that's how bad I thought they looked. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott since week 1 has looked like Aunt Jemima, dude. He cannot run the ball, and when he does run the ball, he gets like 2 yards per carry. I made this funny tweet where it's like, Ezekiel Elliott, dude, I'll get you 3 yards when you need three, and I'll get you 3 yards when you need five. Like that's just Zeke on the season, right? He fell into the end zone last week. He got most of the work. Didn't really look good. Dalvin Cook, all this hype about him starting or getting more playing time. He looked also bad. He went like 6 rushes for like 12 yards. And I think it's going to be Rico Dowdle, bro. I think he came back from his sickness. He's healthy this week. He's been practicing. I think he's going to be the bona fide workhorse back. I know Mike McCarthy did mention that they don't want to have a committee, but it might be the way that things are going to shake out. I think that's kind of coach speak, just to so that the dudes behind Rico aren't like depressed with the amount of workload that they've been getting. Like I really do think that Rico Dowdle is going to end up being the workhorse. He's going to end up starting. He's going to get most of the work. He's going to get most of the volume. So in a high over under, I do like Rico Dowdle this week. And keep in mind that before the bye week, Mike McCarthy did say that Rico Dowdle needs more touches. Like we need to get him the ball. So after the bye week, he ends up missing the game. So that's why they had Zeke and Dalvin. So I think Rico Dowdle, I think he's going to stay true to his word and that he is going to get more touches. I think he's going to be the workhorse moving along or, the rest of the season. So that's it for Rico Dowdle. The next pair of players that I have from the same matchup is Chase Brown and Zach Moss. So we got the Raiders at Bengals. We have a 46.5 over under, and the Bengals are a 7 point favorites. That's the reason that I really like both of these guys in this matchup. Now, I was kind of leaning toward only including Chase Brown, but I do think Zach Moss is going to get like a goal line touchdown. I just feel it in this game. I feel like Zach Moss and Chase Brown are both going to be involved. They're both going to get a good amount of work. The Raiders are 20th in opponent yards per rush. They're 22nd in opponent rush per game. So meaning teams are just running the ball on them and they're giving up a lot of yards per rush, right? So and they're also 19th in opponent rush yards per game. So those are all things that we like, especially in a plus matchup, a high-ish over under, right? So it's a must win for the Bengals. T. Higgins is still banged up, hasn't been playing. So I really do think it's going to be Chase Brown, Zach Moss, and Jahmyr Chase doing most of the work for the Bengals. I think both guys are kind of locks for touchdowns. Now it'll be a little bit shitty if Chase, like if I had to choose one between the two. Let's say you had both guys. Obviously, I would lean Chase Brown. He's been like cementing himself as the starter in this backfield. So if you had both, go Chase Brown. But I think both guys are startable if you happen to have one or the other. So moving on now, this one is kind of, I mean, listen, layups are 2 points, right? Whether you score a layup or you do a fadeaway mid-range jumper, it's 2 points either way. So this pick is a layup, and it's Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry he's been fantastic. I mean, I don't really have to talk much about Derrick Henry, what he's done up until this point. But we got Broncos at Ravens. We have a 46.5 over under, and the Ravens are a 9.5 favorite. So Vegas is expecting this to be a blowout. The Ravens have been fantastic. They're one of the best offenses. Derrick Henry's had 9 touchdowns in 8 weeks, so he's pretty much a lock in for a touchdown or two per game. And they've basically added Deontay Johnson. I don't know if he's going to play this week. I think he will. The trade happened early enough. He should be playing. And you're adding that to Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson, Isaiah Likely. This offense has already been humming. You now add another really good wide receiver. I mean, I don't know why Deontay Johnson wouldn't be just the wide receiver one on this team moving forward. He's better than Zay Flowers. He's not a better dude after the catch. That's for sure. Nobody's debating that. But as a route runner, as like a third down specialist, as a blanket receiver, he's that type of dude that you want. So I think Derrick Henry's a lock for at least a touchdown, probably two, over 100 yards. He's like smash number one running back on the week for me. So he's somebody that I really like. He's a smash start. As I mentioned, layups are still 2 points. So the next two dudes on this list, you can make the argument that they're also both layups, but the whole point is finding players that you're super confident starting, right? Like there are some players that they're very talented, but they have a tough matchup. And it's Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Not only do they have a good matchup, they have a 48.5 over under, and the Lions are a 3.5 point favorite. So not an incredible favorite, but 3.5, and it's a high over under. So they're the best team in the NFL, bro. There's not much we need to say. Last week, I did also say that Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery should be good for a touchdown on my DFS anytime touchdown play. They both got a touchdown, so that's exactly what you want. I mean, everyone got a fucking touchdown, dude. It was like the Oprah Winfrey show out there. It was just handing out touchdowns like it's going out of fashion. So they're going to be leading on the run game in this. I think both players are going to get ample opportunity. I think it's going to be just another Lions dominating performance. I think the 3.5 point um, uh, line is also very low. I think I smashed the Lions to cover that pretty easily in this game. So the next player that I have, the last player on this list, is going to be James Conner. Unfortunately, James Conner has had a couple of like weird down weeks, but that just tends to happen with these bruising type running backs, especially in like negative game scripts. But we got Bears at Cardinals. It's a 44.5 over under, so not the worst, right? It's also not great. It's not like in the 50s, but the Cardinals are 1.5 point favorites, so decent over under. They're favorites, and the Bears have a really good defense, right? The Bears defense is very good. So you might be wondering, why am I choosing James Conner here? Now, the reason is that their run defense is slightly worse than their pass defense. So the Bears have a good defense all around, but the run defense is slightly worse, right? So basically, they're 14th in rushing yards allowed, and then they're 11th in passing yards allowed. So that just makes me think, okay, they're the favorite. The Bears defense is a little bit scarier in the secondary and in the passing game. The Cardinals are favored at home. I think there's a good bet on Conner probably getting the end zone here. I think it's going to be tough sledding from a yardage point of view, but I do think he gets into the end zone. Maybe he gets used a little bit more as a receiving back. So James Conner, somebody that I really like moving forward. If you have any of these players, I would be starting them. That's it for the video, man. It's not going to be a super long one today. Hope you guys enjoy it, dude. If you did, I would really appreciate a like. It's a great way to support the channel, but the best way to support the channel is definitely giving me a subscribe and let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know if you disagree with any of these players, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.